A suspect wanted by Fargo police for several weeks, now back in handcuffs and facing nearly 24 charges. 22-year-old Tremaine Rainey is in the Cass County Jail for 21 separate charges, including robbery, aggravated reckless endangerment, a firearm possessed by a felon, and probation violation. He's a suspect in a New Year's Eve armed robbery in South Fargo and was also the subject of a police search and SWAT team call-out. It was earlier last month at a South Fargo apartment building. Last Sunday, a Fargo patrol officer spotted the suspect's vehicle from the robbery the night before, and a perimeter was set up. Rainey and 2 others surrendered without incident after about 20 minutes. Also arrested were 24-year-old Sierra Higgum and 20-year-old Mackenzie Higgum, both on charges of hindering law enforcement. Also new this morning, a Fargo man now facing DUI charges after a crash that police say he tried to flee from after causing. They say 33-year-old Eugene Kempers was involved in a crash last night on 32nd Avenue near I-29. After that collision, police say Kempers attempted to drive away, but instead he crashed into the median, flipped his vehicle onto its side, and he was ejected from the vehicle. He's now being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Police are now asking for help tracking down a missing teenager from Fargo. 17-year-old Alkeisha Baxter was last seen leaving her home along 32nd Street South. It was early yesterday morning. She's 5'8", about 140 pounds. Be sure to contact Fargo Police or your local law enforcement with any information. You see her there on your screen. Meanwhile, police in Aitkin County near Brainerd, Minnesota are asking people to be on the lookout for a missing 55-year-old woman. This is Ann Wyatt. She has not had contact with family or friends since Monday. She does not have her cell phone. No one knows where she is or what direction she might be headed. If you have any information about Wyatt, you're urged to contact the Aitkin County Sheriff's Office or your local law enforcement. Fargo police asking to help identify a person of interest in a car theft last month. The person in this picture was seen on security footage stealing a running vehicle from the 2600 block of 14th Street South. It happened on December 12th. Anyone with information here is urged to contact Red River Regional Dispatch. That number 701-451-7660. You can also text tips using the keyword Fargo PD. Simply send that message to 847-411. Time now for a look at our fast track forecast with meteorologist Lisa Green. Good morning.
Good morning. More fog here today in Fargo. You can see our visibility on the low end in the metro. We're looking down on I-94 and University, and a temperature of about 8 degrees right now. Grand Forks at 11, 0 in Thief River Falls. We're at 2 below in Bemidji, 1 above in Detroit Lakes, and in Devil's Lake, 11 right now. There's some fog out there. There's some frost out there as well. We're looking at conditions that are a little tougher in the southern end of the valley where the fog is more widespread. Visibility at 0 in Oaks, Fargo at a half-mile visibility, Wahpeton, Wheaton at a quarter-mile, Grand Forks now at 6, so better than yesterday morning. That dense fog has shifted to another part of the valley there, and Baudette and Bemidji at a quarter-mile visibility. So is Hallock, a little bit of improvement from that 0 we were at earlier. So tri-state map looking nice and quiet. It's just foggy out there for us again this morning, and expanding the view down to the south. If you're heading down to Frisco, a little bit of rain down into Oklahoma here, but otherwise that's looking pretty quiet. Some fog on the road here in the valley, and then you might run into a little rain on that last leg of your journey down in the southern part of the U.S. Here's a look at our conditions for today. We're going to see temperatures rising a bit, but not a warm day. We'll be at about 13 degrees in Fargo. Wind will be on the light side, generally out of the north, and we'll see that fog lift through the morning just like other days this week, and eventually get some mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. So here's a look at our forecast for today. Again, Fargo, morning fog, partly cloudy. Look at the difference here. Fargo, 13 degrees. Frisco, forecast high of 70 degrees. Lots of sunshine, warm weather down there. So enjoy that if you're heading in that direction. Should be a nice weekend in the Frisco area. And here in the valley, you know, we're not going to quite be that warm, but this time of year, seeing temperatures in that teens to 20 degree range is just fine, especially given that we don't have any major weather systems impacting us, with some sunshine on the way too. A little bit of a breeze on Saturday, but that will help to scatter out that fog. And then next week into the 20s with a chance for snow returning on Wednesday and heading into your Thursday.
All right, it's no Frisco, but us here with the Bison Nation are still bringing the heat, so we'll take it.
I love that. Good thinking on that one.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much for that update this morning. The public library, typically a place for studying and learning, but in Valley City, it's been part of a debate all over a book called Let's Talk About It. The book is described online and on the cover as a graphic novel about teens, sex, and relationships. But some people believe it is flat out pornography, and it was the subject of a public meeting yesterday.
This book meets all criteria needed to be determined both pornography and obscenity.
As a parent of an almost preteen, I was terrified on how to approach the subject when she gets older. It is a safe learning tool for her and others to use when they are old enough to learn about this subject.
The library board now has 2 weeks to make a final decision on that book. A lot of people in Moorhead say they are excited about a new underpass being built on 11th Street, so they won't have to wait for the trains to pass anymore. But some businesses are not as happy. Holland's Landscaping has to move to keep their business alive because the area around the railroad intersections will alter that business. The owners, who have run Holland's off-Center Avenue for more than 15 years, say they were forced to move across the river to Fargo. Demolition on that project starts this summer, but the co-owner says she's not ready to see the wrecking ball go through their building. The major construction on that project set to start in the spring of 2024. The National Football League says the game between the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals will not be rescheduled. It was after Monday's on-field emergency with Damar Hamlin. He suffered cardiac arrest but is now making significant strides in his recovery. Doctors from the University of Cincinnati say his condition has improved, but he will remain in intensive care while his lungs continue to heal. People from across the state will gather today to honor the life of Minot police officer Patrick Blanchard. He passed away 1 week ago. A public memorial service will be held at 10:30 this morning at the Minot State University Dome. A live stream of the service is now in the works. A procession of law enforcement vehicles will follow that service, escorting Blanchard from the Dome to Thompson Larson Funeral Home. Norman County Sheriff Jeremy Thornton has passed away. His family announced this week that he was in hospice after being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Funeral arrangements will be announced later on today. The Minnesota legislative session started, but is already working on a bill to strengthen abortion rights within the state. It passed its first test yesterday. Governor Tim Walz is also reaffirming his support for legalizing cannabis. Among other bills is a plan that would allow Minnesotans up to 12 weeks paid time off if you're sick and another 12 weeks post-pregnancy for caring for a loved one.
I would have loved to have paid family and medical leave that wasn't dependent on me having a good year or planning ahead or only having one employee that needed that paid time off. This is a disadvantage to small businesses who can't compete with corporations that have the means and resources to offer this benefit.
The U.S. is one of the few countries without a national paid leave. Minnesota's proposal would be a state-run program similar to how unemployment benefits work. But opponents say it'll be too costly and burdensome to small businesses. A self-serving alcohol business is one step closer to becoming a reality in Fargo. The Liquor Control Board yesterday approved a business plan for Crafty Taps. It hopes to locate in the West Acres Mall food court. The city auditor says, though, the next step is to make an ordinance for the self-serving taps. As we know, it is a big money-making week for businesses in Frisco, Texas, and most of their clientele will be from right here across the Dakotas. The Valley Today's Courtney Lockey is live from FCS Championship Weekend to tell us all about it. Good morning, Courtney.
Good morning, Ashlyn. That is so right. But things are a little bit different this year. For one, I mean, we have the Dakotas coming down here to play each other, and two, that game, instead of being on Saturday, is actually going to be on Sunday. So it has delayed the fans arriving a little bit. We're expecting most of them to get here tonight, and then the rest of them to get here tomorrow. But we did see a few. Either way, businesses are ready for them. We've got Scruffy Duffy's here in the background. You can see the green and gold NDSU Bison plan flying in the wind back there. We're going to take you inside in just a couple of seconds because they have decked out the place and you've got to see it. All of the employees last night, they were wearing our shirts and our colors. It was awesome. We also went to another bar called the Community Grill. They have a special drink menu that they've created just for the Bison with their feature called the Green Nation. They said they've been making it now for about 5 years. And we also went to one other bar called Thirsty Lion, and that's going to be right where the NDSU prep rally is held on Saturday afternoon. They say this will be their first time welcoming in Bison Nation, but they've been doing their research and they say they hope they're prepared.
We've been preparing, talking meeting-wise and getting everybody together for the past, 3 months.
Beer. Lots of beer.
Everybody the year before had posted that Frisco ran out of beer.
They travel in packed herd.
They have the most spirit of any team we've ever seen around.
I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of the fans.
Heard y'all like Captain Morgan. I've heard that's a high sell here and that y'all are the most polite drinkers. That's the one thing I have heard.
We'll be open until 11 o'clock over the weekend. So normally 9:30 during the week, but hey, you guys come in herds and we'll stay open for you, believe me.
This weekend might not be the weekend to wear blue.
I am ready.
Now, Scruffy Duffy's the bar behind me. They tell me that they had to actually get trucks and fill that with more alcohol so that they don't run out this year. That happened a couple years in the past. And we are going to be talking with fans as soon as they start rolling in later tonight. You can catch that, as well as interviews with former players who are going to be watching the game from the stands instead.
All right, it sounds like our reputation surely precedes us down in Frisco. I do want to thank you for telling us all about the Bison Tracker. I downloaded the app and I've been keeping up with it. We're now at over 5,000 fans, all on the move to head to that game this weekend. So thank you for the live updates throughout the week. We look forward to hearing some more. Thank you again to Courtney Lockie. Well, we're going to leave this Friday morning with one of our feel-good stories of the week. We're talking about a man in Cumberland, Maryland, who put together a TikTok video and a GoFundMe account to help 82-year-old Rory McCarty retire from Walmart. They have raised $108,000 for this guy who clocked out for his last time on Wednesday. Now, here's the kicker. They didn't even know each other just 1 month ago, but when they met, he knew that getting online could change his life. Look at that, a feel-good Friday, a full moon Friday, and we're talking about Frisco.